Let me then start with the initial words of this conference, and I welcome you on the final conference of the project, which had been implemented in the consortium of the highest, highly evaluated research institutes in the European Union, and it is focused on a topic or on a question which is really very important, especially today, whether the differentiated integration can be the scenario for the European Union and for the future development. And of course, when I start with some general remarks, I have to start with the very basic roots of the concept of the differentiated integration. And also, it had been first time mentioned in the speech of Ralph Dahrendorf in 1979. So it's already like more than 40 years. It is a really important question, especially today when we are discussing the future of Europe. It's the question which is very much present in number of discussions in the conferences, public discussions with the citizens, and also between the politics for those who are ready and have all the research of the implementation of the different activities and events where the concept of differentiated integration had been discussed, the number of outputs. We have the opportunity to welcome the most qualified experts in the European Union on a different topic connected with the differentiated integration to present their outputs, to present their research outcomes, and provide the evidence-based approach for the future decision about the European Union integration. I believe that the experts in this project, under the scientific lead of especially today, we are living in the times where the populism is pretty much present in number of member states of the European Union. And from this point, we have to understand that also this differentiated integration is the way of more effective cooperation in some areas. We have to be clear that in very specific and important or crucial areas, we have to sustain on the common values and on the common grounds all the member states, and there should not be the exceptions or differentiation as such. And here I'm talking about the fundamental grounds of the European Union and the internal market, the policies which are based on the respect of the human rights, rule of law, democracy, and solidarity. And also we have the differentiated integration positive experience in number of occasions. In some fundamental areas, we have to sustain on the already mentioned unified approach, because this is the basic or fundamental roots of the European Union itself. But as the time in the future life. And in this manner, I would like to give the floor to the scientific leader of the InDivEU project, Frank Schimmelfennig, who is the professor at ETH Zürich, and is also the member of the board of the TEPSA Association, and is also the one who is really making the research, and you had everyone the opportunity to read his research papers, articles, and the briefs in the topic as such. So let me welcome again Ruben, and I believe that after this welcoming word, we can consider the conference as a starting point, and we can move to the welcome word, which will be more focused on the topic under the Frank's presentation. Frank, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lucia, for your kind welcoming words. And also a big thank you to TEPSA for hosting us for this final conference of our project. So, dear colleagues, of course, also welcome to you to our final conference. It is, of course, sad that we again need to hold it online. It would have been very enjoyable and gratifying to finally meet again after working on a collaborative project for so many years. But it was, of course, the reasonable thing to do. And I'd like to thank everyone, and again, especially TEPSA, for their flexibility in making this possible. It is also very sad that Brigid cannot be with us right now to open the conference and to moderate the first session. This is because of a family emergency, but we do hope that she will be able to join us later this afternoon or at least tomorrow. So in InDivEU, integrating diversity in the European Union, we have an ambitious work program behind us. The project will end at the end of the year with many and multifaceted contributions to the research and policy agenda of differentiated integration. And I think we can say with some justification that we, also together with our sister projects, EU IDEA and EU 3D, that we have pushed the research frontier on differentiated integration quite significantly and in several directions. Let me just mention a few domains in which we have been working over the past 3 years. One was the normative reflection on what it means to engage in fair differentiation, the conditions under which differentiated integration is not only acceptable and legitimate, but might actually be preferable to uniform integration. I think we now have also a better understanding of the legal diversity and the legal ramifications of differentiated integration, both with regard to internal and with regard to external differentiation. We have further engaged in explaining the causes, the conditions, and the dynamics of differentiated integration in the course of European integration. And I think we've also added quite a number of novel elements to the study of differentiated integration. There has been work on public opinion, on which we, I think we can say we had known virtually nothing before starting this project. Now, after a lot of data collection and a lot of analyses, I think we now have a much better idea of what citizens actually think about differentiated integration, which is of course something that has been mainly decided among governments, governmental institutions at the European and national level. In addition, we've also studied party preferences on differentiated integration, again, an area that had not been studied before. And I think we've done an extensive and excellent work trying to survey governmental preferences across the European Union and also governmental salience of differentiated integration over the past years. Traditionally, the focus of studies of differentiated integration has been on internal differentiation among the member states. Here again, we had a work package specifically dedicated to external differentiation, trying to understand how the selective participation of non-member states in the European Union works, how well that works, and that's of course an issue that has gained additional relevance with Brexit, and the difficult ways of, let's say, finding an agreement with the former member states. Finally, we have not forgot to study alternatives to differentiated integration. There are many ways in which the European Union can deal with diversity, and we wanted to be open about this. So some of us have studied how states integrate differentially in the domain of core state powers, but also how they cooperate beyond legal differentiation. We have looked at flexible implementation as a complement or alternative of differentiated integration. And we have looked at experimental governance, experimentalist forms of governing the European Union, also as a complement or as an alternative to differentiation. So I think we can say that in all of these areas, we now have not only better data, but also general descriptions, explanatory analyses, and evaluative assessments. I will not say what they are because this will actually be the topic of our conference. I would also like to highlight the academic infrastructure for the study of differentiated integration that has vastly improved over the past years. We've had DI sections in general conferences. There is a research group now within the ECPR. There is a DI garage for presenting ongoing work. We've seen numerous papers, at least 2 special journal issues being published on the results of our project, and even a few books coming out. In addition to policy briefs and commentary pieces that we have produced over the past years. The DICE project, which focuses on communication and dissemination, will continue for another year and will further develop this infrastructure. And I'd like to thank especially those of you who are involved in keeping these channels open and running. We do hope, of course, that after the conclusion of our project, that differentiated integration will remain an important field of study beyond the lifetime of these projects. And I think we have provided both, let's say, theoretical, substantive, as well as structural groundwork for this to happen. Now, for this conference, we decided to move beyond the typical academic format with sequential paper presentations, stacks of PowerPoint slides, and formal discussions, but use a more flexible, open, and dialogical format, and also to mingle with practitioners. After all, it is one of the purposes of such projects to both inform and learn from policymakers, provide ideas and knowledge on which political practice might want to draw. Again, this is not the first event of this kind in InDivEU, even though many of our exchanges with stakeholders, members of parliament, European institutions were also hampered by the pandemic. There is, of course, another way in which the pandemic has had an impact on our research agenda, in another way than just making it more difficult to meet and organize events. But I think the COVID-19 pandemic has also raised to new prominence issues of European solidarity, uniform integration to tackle this and other challenges that the EU faces. And these new and sometimes old challenges also provide a reality check for what differentiated integration can do or might not do for the European Union. And I think these questions will also shape the agenda of our discussions over the next 2 days.